You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
What's up, Steeler Nation? Welcome to the Mark Lesko Podcast. I'm your host, J-Rod, and this is Steelers Central. So how do we feel right now? I mean, if I was to give it like a chart direction, I'd say the first game, we're kind of even. We went up just a little bit because, we won the game and we had huge points. So, we felt pretty good offensively. Still no signs of if the defense was kind of a fluke or if the Jets were that good. And then you watched it spiral just completely down, going way down, still going down because everything was wrong with that game pretty much, except for Chris Boswell and the kicker Waitman or the punter Waitman. So then you come back up and, you were here, you were here at the start. Now you're kind of right here. I like to think that you're still kind of underneath where you were hoping you'd want it to be in terms of do you feel good about the season in terms of even Steven? With that win yesterday, the only thing that was for us was the result. Everything else went the other way for that team. Again, I just do a little quick recap of it all where it's you see what we had to deal with. Everybody just, didn't get completely, destroy it or ruin it. But at the same time, the problems are still there. The questions don't have answers yet. And this is what you're going to have to look forward to these next couple of games. Now, again, this is Mike Tomlin, Steelers. This is what you always have to put up with. The inconsistencies, the questions, everybody always how do I know which way they're going to go? It's crazy when you deal with the Mike Tomlin Steelers. It is, but I love this team, and I'll always root for them no matter what. And they did have a victory yesterday. What were the positives? Obviously, the result. The win is a good positive. But, yeah, everything else pretty much was a negative. How many yards they gave up, once again, was over 360 yards. They were, I think, kind of 550% on third downs. They were 4 for 5 on fourth downs. That's not acceptable. You can't let a team that has a fourth and whatever, I don't care if it's 1 and 2 every single time, the fact that you let themselves get into that position, that is on you. Coaching, players, at all. That's just not acceptable no matter what the circumstances are. But if I just say what was other positives, watching Aaron Rodgers conduct the offense the way he did on the field, getting those big crucial downs and touchdowns. That right there shows, again, this guy is one of the better quarterbacks to do so. And that's why he is Mr. A-Rod and why he is Mr. Rodgers. He's been doing this for such a long time. And the players that he has, they are playmakers. They really are. I was happy to see Calvin get a bounce back from last week's game. I know that he was kind of, MIA last week, but, he kind of found some footing here and there, had a huge catch, of course, with that touchdown. DK was kind of the same thing. I know he was targeted about 4 or 5 times. He had 3 catches, about, I'd say 30, 40 yards. It wasn't that impressive of a game passing-wise for the Steelers, but they made it matter when you needed to. So, another couple positives. I did like what I saw from the first drive of the offensive series when they just basically did but run the ball with Warren. They really did either break holes or, Warren was able to make something move, and he pushed that ball the way down to the end zone, and they finally used Gainwell with that trick play at the end. That was great to see that. I was very happy to know it's all right, we can do something against somebody. That's the important thing. You showed you can. Did you lean on it? Not really. But that could also be a Mike Vrabel, like the defensive coordinator of the Patriots. They did all their adjustments and they were able to figure it all out. That could have been the case too. You look at the defense, and I very much am happy to know that we have a guy like Jabril Peppers as our safety, taking care of things for Deshaun as best he can. I do believe that when he's healthy, which is either going to be this next coming game against the Vikings in Ireland or the home game against the Browns in 2 or 3 weeks, and either way, I think that once Deshaun Elliott is healthy again, I mean, I don't know, like Juan Thornhill might no longer have his spot, and he might be the backup or third string, whatever. I just think that the combination of Deshaun Elliott and Peppers is going to be a very, very potent and important factor for that defense. I think it is important that your main guys that you bring in, or the players that you know you can trust to do what they needed to. They did see some improvement. They had, again, great success with the run this time. They did hold, I think, the whole team under 100, maybe around 100. Again, that's huge. However, they did still have problems in the passing game because, again, the cornerbacks are either Slay or is that Eccles, I think is the other Brandon Eccles, and Ramsey. I mean, I didn't hear Ramsey's name almost at all yesterday. I don't know if I was looking for it or what, but yeah, like there were a lot of key big moments defensively, naturally from, again, players like Cam Hayward and TJ finally showing up this year. It's the first time so far in a long time that both of them have shown up. And it was important to see that, because if I was to say who was the ultimate player of yesterday's game, I mean, I want to give it to TJ because he had the 2 sacks and he was just being TJ again. But Cam knocking the ball loose from Stevenson and Gibson, or if it was just all Stevenson, I mean, he had 2 forced fumbles, I think, all by himself. And, yeah, those were crucial moments. And I can only imagine when you are a team that has, 17 plays, and you went 87 yards or something, and you just get intercepted in the end zone. Oh, I can only imagine what you have to say when you're an offensive coordinator and you throw that play out there and you think that's going to work, and the ball's with the other team. And I mean, that would have been so devastating if I was a Steelers fan. That would have been horrible if it went the other way. But they definitely showed up very much on the opportunities that the Patriots gave them. It's like, yeah, we won the game, but it was because the Patriots had their issues. It wasn't about how we really, took advantage. I mean, yeah, we did come up with all the fumbles. Like, we made those fumbles happen and we recovered those balls. So, I mean, that is you can't take that away from them. But at the same time, you had 4 or 5 turnovers from the Patriots and you came up with 7 points. I think that was it. I mean, I don't get this whole mentality that Mr. Tomlin has, where I got to keep these games close and I always got to make sure that they stay close. Like, we can't just go into our games at home or wherever. We can't just go in there and go 28-0. We will never do something like that, because I thought that was the pace they were going when DK came up with that gorgeous catch he made on the side. I don't know if it was a great throw or if it was just a great catch, or it was a combination of both. But you watched how he came down with it, and you're like, all right, 14-0, baby. I mean, this is what you want to see from the Steelers. Like, I've been waiting for this type of separation where it's like, hey, I can just enjoy a football game. And then the second quarter started and never really recovered after that. Again, it was all about us taking it away from them when they were about to score. And, yeah, like, they just refused to settle for a field goal, and they kept going for it. And what did I see? I think I saw that the Patriots, Mike Vrabel and company, had a 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 on their 15-yard line, and they went for it. I never in my all football watching life have ever heard of that scenario where a team is that pinned back and they're like, you know what? We know how horrible you guys are. We don't care if you get it, because we think that your play calling is easy to figure out. We can easily get around it, and surely enough, they made it. So, and it came down to a 4th-and-1 play at the end of the game, and Eccles was there again to make that great stop. And the whole hook play where the guy caught the ball and he turned his body around. I mean, everybody knows, like, in the world of football, it's like more like just fall down that way. I mean, if he had done that, he would have gotten the first down. So they decided to try to get around, and he made a great tackle and took the legs out, and we got it back and we won. So again, it doesn't answer a whole lot of questions, but at the same time, you do try to find ways to be positive. And that's really like this opening introduction, again, as a recap. But for the, kickoff, I wanted to talk about Ireland and how it does pretty much have to be the statement game pretty much this year. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, because I feel like, again, we kind of went up a little bit with the first game and we went all the way down here, and now we're kind of almost back to the beginning. I mean, it would be nice if we could surge up, but, the Vikings, that's an interesting test. I mean, the first game in Ireland, I mean, I'm very interested to see how the fans are going to come and show their support and see what it looks like in Ireland. I'm sure it's going to be gorgeous. I mean, I can only imagine seeing that country and how they're excited they are for this. I mean, it's pretty cool that we're the first team, along with the Vikings, to ever play a game in Ireland. Everybody's always been at the London games, at the games in Germany and Spain and down in Mexico City. And it's like, now we finally have them in Ireland. So my question is, what kind of gold is at the end of this rainbow? Is it real or is it fool's gold? There's a lot of things defensively that need to go right. And, I have up here these stats for the game, to see where we are collectively. We have a sample size, so this will be a really nice way to see how it all fits for this game particular. So if we start in I think I have it on the rushing. Yes. So if you look right now, I've got highlighted the rushing numbers here. So the Bills are the number 1 team. They have so far had 489 total rushing yards. And if you look down here, we see that the Vikings are about in the middle, like with 367. And if you go even closer in it, you see that they have 76 attempts, and they're averaging 4.8 with that, which I think is, respectable. I think it's kind of in the middle. But then you scroll all the way down, guys. All the way down. Here we are, the next to last team when it comes to the rush numbers. I mean, we have a total of 189 yards. Jalen Warren and Gainwell. 3 games, you have seen 189 total yards. That's insane. That means you're getting about a little over 60 yards a game, and for the whole team, like every game. You're averaging 2.8, and the Vikings are right now at 4.8. Now, if you look at the Steelers, they do have just the 1 rushing touchdown. They have no runs for more than 20 yards or 40. And if we go back up to the Vikings, you'll see that they have 3 touchdowns, and they have 1 play that went for 20 yards or more. I mean, does that concern me? I mean, if you look at like who else is there, if we saw the Jets and they had, some of the more impressive numbers, but that was kind of like because we gave them most of them in the first game. And if you look for the Seahawks, I mean, they're kind of actually around where the Patriots were. Yeah, so they're well below where the Vikings are. And yeah, again, most of them are from what we gave them. And I think they did have what 1 rushing touchdown, maybe 2 in our game. And with the Jets, I mean, yeah, I think all of their rushing touchdowns came from us. So yeah, it's one of those questions where I don't know how far you can how long you can keep them out. But I mean, it's going to be kind of like a huge test for them. That's one of the more prolific teams with the run, but with Jones out, I don't know if I don't know who was the rusher. I know I saw the man's name and I totally forget what I saw. Apologize, guys. Sometimes these things like to take their time. So the Vikings game yesterday,
they're going to have to run the football.
So if you look at what they had with the numbers, I think it's Mason. Yeah, he had 16 attempts, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, a lot of what the Bengals gave the Vikings last week, that was primarily with, returns and interceptions and stuff. So, I mean, they had their hands full with that Viking defense that beat them up something awful. So defensively, I think the Vikings are going to be a real test for us. They certainly have shown a lot of good strengths. And it's, again, what you see with their offensive weapons. I'd like to think that the Steelers will be able to match them. So it seems to me like this is going to be a low-scoring affair. If I were to not put a prediction on, I want to do that tomorrow, but, you're just taking a good scheme at, what are you hoping to see happen? I mean, I know that there's a lot of interesting ideas for, guys like, can we take advantage of, I guess corners? Like, I want to see if DK and even Calvin, can we do a deep ball or something? I know 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if 40, 50 yards is asking for too much, but I think that's something we also have to really see. I mean, that's really one of the only two things I have yet to see the offense really do. Just take a 30, 40-yard shot down the field. And again, expose the middle of the field, get Pat and Washington and Jonnu involved again. I don't know how either Seahawks or New England took out the tight end, but they figured them out pretty quick. And you just had, again, rely on the wide receivers to do something. So I think overall this is going to be a very well-balanced game, but I do trust Rodgers more than I trust Wentz. And again, I don't know about this Mason. I don't think that is a normal game for him. 116 yards and 2 touchdowns sounds like he had a career day. And the whole thing may come down to a field goal kick. I mean, again, I will go into my predictions tomorrow, but that's really what you have in terms of the basic layout of this game. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, at 9:30 in the morning, get it out of the way. So we will, again, dive more into this tomorrow, but I want to do the halftime show now, move into that, go in to see the basic week 3 recaps. On Thursday night, the Bills took care of the Dolphins 31-21, and the Jaguars beat the Texans. I did call that one. The Buccaneers beat the Jets just barely. I mean, I think I saw it was 26-3 at one point. Next thing I know, I see they're leading that game. I'm like, no way did Tyrod Taylor and company just come back on them. But all they do is get down the field and get a field goal. Again, the Jets, they don't have the best defense this year. And the big surprise, I think, yesterday was the Panthers demolishing the Falcons. Oh, my goodness, that was nuts. 30-0. Crazy. Never thought I'd see that. I mean, you had that bet on there, you'd be a millionaire. And then the Browns surprised the Packers. They went into Cleveland. I thought that Matt LaFleur and company would have had an answer for that Browns defense, but no one does. That's the thing about this, guys. I mean, AFC North, their defenses are always going to be tough, and the Browns very much have a good defense. So, but the only team that doesn't have a good defense in the AFC North is, of course, the Bengals, and that was the 48-10 bout. But, I look at the scoring closer. I mean, I hear it. It's like it says, they got a touchdown. That was the pass to Hawkinson, I think is who that was, the first touchdown. And then you saw Sorry, guys. My phone has decided to keep kicking me out. Okay. So they got a touchdown, and then the Bengals punted 3 plays, nothing. And then they punted away. And then the Vikings got that return for the touchdown, made it 14-0. And then in the second quarter, they had a field goal. Bengals had a field goal, and the Vikings had a touchdown. Yep, and then they fumbled the ball, the Bengals, then they recovered, and they ran it for 66 yards, and it's a touchdown. That's another defensive touchdown. I mean, they're not they weren't doing a whole lot of like offensive scoring with Wentz and company. But yeah, the next one was a touchdown, and that then became a field goal to end the half, and that was 34-3 by that halftime. So I don't know. Like, are they going to have the same kind of performance against a team like us? It's quite possible. I mean, again, I'd like to think Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know about the offensive line, but for the Bengals and us, or can we compare? I think we could be slightly better than the Bengals. So this should be an interesting game for sure. So I digress with the whole recap. I just wanted to make sure that I got those numbers right. But yeah, they destroyed the Bengals. And then you had the Eagles beating the Rams with that ridiculous blocked field goal twice. And the one got ran back for a touchdown. Absolutely insane. Eagles do what they do, guys. You stay in the game, you keep up with it, and eventually you win it. So, and then the Colts destroyed the Titans 41-20. That is a very dangerous team. I think that might be a team you don't want to mess with. If you are a team like either the Bills or the Ravens, they are a very interesting team right now. The Commanders destroyed the Raiders. The Chargers barely eked out the Broncos. The Broncos were winning, and they had to come back in this. And Justin Herbert and them, they are ready to do something this season. So I'm very intrigued to see what they have coming for us. And then the Seahawks destroyed the Saints 44-13. So the Seahawks look very much legit. Again, that Mike McDonald with Sam Darnold, I very much was impressed. Team that surprised me was the Bears destroying the Cowboys. Like, I was not anticipating the Cowboys to be this bad defensively. I mean, I know you lose Micah Parsons, but, man, they are just completely falling off. And the 49ers eke out that win against the Cardinals, and I saw that Nick Bosa had the torn ACL. He'll be out for the season. That's a real bummer. All these great defensive players can't stay healthy. That team is cursed when it comes to their injuries. And then the Chiefs destroyed the Giants 22-9. And tonight's game, the Lions and the Ravens, oh, man, what a great game that's going to be. I mean, I know who I'm rooting for in that game, but I know who's going to win in that game. So, yeah, and so I'll close it with the 2-minute warning with this. The whole identity of the Steelers has traditionally always been the defense and the run game. And their offensive line is preventing them from having that run game. And the defense is slowly kind of getting a rhythm with its communication. I think that this game did prove that there are places that they have improved. They didn't allow a sack for Rodgers in this game. That was a huge uptick for the offensive line. They had a lot of sacks against the Patriots. So, I mean, they got to the quarterback. I mean, they got pressure. There's a lot of very good things that have come from this game. But the problems that they have had, they just can't continue to have them. Like, cannot. If they're going to try to be competitive in this league, which I think they can. I know their names are good enough to be competitive, but again, only time will tell. If the more you do it, the better they get. So going to Ireland, I hope they are prepared for this game. Again, I will go more into detail for tomorrow's preview of week 4. So that's really what you got. I hope that it's going to be a good week. I will see you guys tomorrow for the predictions for week 4. And I'm just hoping that we get more questions answered for this coming week. That way we can go into our bye and actually enjoy and relax and say, hey, we got the Browns in week 5, and then we can see where the season takes us. But for now, we have a winning record, and all we can do is just keep going up. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will see you for the next episode. And until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.